Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Connor on Connor's Retribution Analysis. This is the finals of the Cavalry Caster local tournament that I'm going to, and it's Kaya 3. And this circle player has two lists. He's got Morvana 2 and he's got Kaya 3. I'm pretty much locked into Vyros 2. So he's it's like I've played Morvana 2 twice today, so let's play some Kaya 3. He's got a well, he's got some Scarsfell Griffins, he's got a Warp Wolf Stalker, and then he's got a smattering of solos. My experience with Kaya 3 has been whoever goes first is significantly advantaged because we're both fast. His defensive feat and going first allows him to alpha and then pop feet, and that little swing pushes things in favor for Kaya 3 for attrition for the rest of the game. However, I went first, and I fully intend to take full advantage of it, because this list has battle mages, it has a trident, it has threat extensions, and it's got a forest in the middle. Well, I mean, his griffins, his Scarsfells have tracker, so the forest really isn't that big of a deal for either of us. My objective is Eyeless Sight, which Eyeless Sight for tridents is ridiculous, by the way. It was absurd last game, and for a trident shooting down raiders under Borkatu's feet, and it's also absurd this game for shooting stealth solos like, I don't know, Lady of the Feast, because she's up there. So going first, I'm already in threat of Lady of the Feast. So my plan is I've got a chain like this, excluding the battle mages because screw them, where no matter where he goes, I'm going to choose this Griffin as my shield guard target. And then Lady of the Feast can't go anywhere where it can swing on the Trident's back arc. And the best it could possibly do is get this Griffin in the back. Sure, whatever, I'm down for that. Sounds good. My opponent's debating, measures things out for a little bit, and at one point he's debating getting into this pile of battle mages and killing them. He's also debating going in on this Arcanist and just deleting all three of my Arcanists. That would be pretty sweet trade for him. But it ends up not being worth it. Before that happens, this well takes a shot at this Arcanist over here. It gets shield guarded to Imperitus. They're immune to blast, so Griffon and Imperitus take hits. Doesn't really matter a whole lot. And because Imperitus has done a shield guard, that's why he's debating his Lord of the Feast. Shifting stones him up 8. That's what the 8 stick is for. And then go in on that Arcanist and kill 3. He decides not to, and instead moves him back over to here. He asks my threat range, my maximum threat range. I tell him it's 15, but it's kind of a fake threat range. I can go 15, but it requires a trident, it requires fleet, and it requires a charge. So once my griffins get there, they're not really doing much. So he goes to about 13 out and layers his whole army right here. Oops, wrong way. And he also put a black clad wayfairer right there with a phase jump. So I look at this, and I really don't have much motivation. He also puts a fuck war. I don't have much motivation to engage him. I'm just going to camp on some scenario. Trident's going to go up with Eyeless Sight, and I'm going to shoot some stuff. And then I'm going to back up, give him nothing, and sit on scenario, and make him put stuff on scenario. Make him give me things to peace trade, and I'm standing out of his run range. So if he wants to run, he's not going to be engaging me, and I can walk my griffins with fleet around him and headbutt him in the back and start knocking things down and just start hosing him. Because in my Kaya games in the past, my opponents have ran all their griffins into my face and popped feet on them, and then I've had to do awkward things to kill them. So where I'm at now, he's going to have a hard time engaging all my griffins. Then griffins that are engaged can walk behind his griffins and knock them down. So that building synergy is super easy, and then after that, it's just chug along and kill a whole bunch of squishy circle beasts that are defense skewed. Once synergy's all fully built and they're knocked down. So, Trident getting Eyeless Sight goes up into this forest, shoots Lord of the Feast dead, shoots a Shifting Stone dead, and then puts some shots into the well that don't really matter. This Prowl Blackclad over here is out of Fog of War range. So Imperitus walks up and boosts to hit and shoots him dead, and then heals up on his force field the damage he took from well. My battle mages spread around this zone and engage that black clad to make things a little difficult for him. I don't want him running away and doing Hunter's Mark. I want him to have to commit something over there to unjam him so he can do Hunter's Mark, because I intentionally put my stuff out of his non-Hunter's Mark range. He used his once-a-game effect to bring in the Grievous Wounds stealth. What's her name? She's the Bloodweaver solo. Night Witch, I think it is. So that he could have another source of Grievous Wounds for Imperitus. Oh yeah, also Trident repoed back so that I'm out of threat ranges of all his models. Felt like a great turn. I felt fantastic about it. I killed Lady of the Feast. I killed a Shifting Stone. I killed a Black Clad for what I thought to be essentially free. And I also put scenario pressure on him with an Arcanist here. I don't have to worry, and I'm just sitting here in a nice, beautiful ball, ready to fight, ready to roll, ready to throw down. So his turn, he's feeling already like I'm defeated, but he makes the decision, you know what, I'm going to make you roll dice for this victory. So he takes his whole army and he runs it into my face and pops feet on it. The Black Clad kills the Battle Mage and does an 8-inch spray and kills another Battle Mage. And that's basically where we're at right here. He has his dodge animus up on this one and this one, but these other guys, or no, the 4 Griffins right here have their dodge animus, but this one does not have dodge and this one does not have dodge because they had to run and did not do the walk repo. So, my basic plan is Griffins build synergy right here. And then Griffins walk into this pile of Griffins and kill Griffins. Trident goes and slams Warpwolf and shoots Warpwolf to death. I'm going to be greedy and try and take everything that I possibly can. Instead, what ends up happening is Griffins in Vyros 2 do not kill this Griffin. So Imperitus ends up killing this Griffin right here because I don't want to leave it right next to Vyros 2, who was the second guy to start the synergy chain. Trident, I realized, could not charge Warpwolf because it could not see the Warpwolf. So it ended up charging this Griffin and boosting to hit to try and slam it into the other Griffin. It missed the to-hit roll under Veteran Leader for the slam. So the Griffin skated away and got engaged and was out of melee of the Trident. So I really had nothing I could shoot at. So I just started taking shots at Gorax Ragers because I wasn't going to try and take shots on the Warpwolf, needing 7s to hit with. I only rolled up one focus, one power token for the Trident, so I would need. I actually probably should have taken my shots. No, I would have needed 7s to hit on the Stalker, and I only needed 5s to hit on the Gorax Ragers. So I took my shots on the Gorax Ragers, and they didn't really care. Who cares about them anyways? They're just primal bots. So Trident really didn't do anything. Then my Griffins walked up and I realized that I needed 8s to hit the Scarsfells and that I had to boost to hit because otherwise they'd dodge away. Since I didn't have the resources to knock them down and kill them. So it started getting really awkward really quick where I missed some of my boosted to hits and I also left a couple of them on a couple of boxes. So, yeah, we ended up right here with this situation, and this is not good. Also, my battle mages killed the Black Clad over here and scored this zone. This is not good at all. My opponent is like, hey, that wasn't as bad as he thought, and then he starts looking at attrition. He's like, okay, I can primal stuff and kill the Trident. I can kill probably the Manticore as well. It's under Vyros 2 feet. He's like, I can get a lot of attrition work here, which I would have been fine with because if he had done that, everything that primaled, I would have ignored or put an Arcanist next to, and I would have killed everything that didn't primal, and I'd basically have 2 turns to kill off his whole army. And I mean, even if his dreams come true and he kills everything that's here, 2 Griffins and Imperitus and Vyros 2 outside of Kaya's feet turn will kill the Griffins that aren't primaled. And then the next turn will kill the Stalker. It's how the Kaya games have gone in the past. Primal is a necessary evil that's really easy to exploit playing against. But But, he has a much better play than that attrition game that I would have liked to have played. Vyros 2 sitting right here on a 3 camp. Oh, yeah. These Griffins didn't die. That's really bad. They really needed to die. Like, yeah. I mean, maybe one of them would have been okay, because then he could have taken a free strike on the way in and not gotten any work done, and maybe not killed Vyros 2. But 2 of them is really bad. So, my opponent is a pretty good player. I've played him a couple of times now. He's always been very logical. He's very good at problem solving. The problem that he sees is that these 2 Griffins are engaging these 2 Griffins. So he walks this Griffin up, picks him up, and throws my Griffin into the other Griffin. And now neither of those 2 Griffins are engaging his Griffins. That problem has been solved. Gorax Ragers and Kaya go up and primal these 2 Griffins, as well as smack the Trident to build up synergy. He gets full synergy between Kaya and the Gorax Ragers and this Scarsfell right here. And then these 2 Scarsfells go in on Vyros 2. And he rolls really poopy dice. But he kills Vyros 2 by a landslide with really poopy dice. With Primal and Synergy, they go from mat 6 to mat 11, and they need 4s to hit. He hits all of his rolls. But his damage rolls are really bad. Like, I think he was rolling like 3s and 4s and 5s pretty frequently for his damage rolls. And the first Griffin left Vyros 2 on like 7 boxes with 1 camp. Second Griffin goes in, still does the same poopy damage rolls, but got, like 5 attacks, 6 attacks each at straight dice. So, I mean, still with poopy damage rolls, it kills Vyros 2. And that was pretty disappointing for me. This situation is almost a repeat of the last game that I played against my Trolls player, except for it's reversed. My Trolls player beat me and I got the assassination. This game, I felt like I messed up my mechanics. What I really needed to have happen was probably just take the free strike with a Griffin. It's not going to kill the Griffin. And knock down a Griffin, build synergy on that Griffin with the other Griffin, probably kill off the Griffin with that other Griffin. Send Imperitus into that pile. Maybe Vyros 2 builds up some synergy and then repos safely. Send Imperitus into that pile. It's going to take everything he has to get rid of Imperitus. The Entropic Force dude and her are way too far back to be relevant to apply Entropic Force to an Imperitus that's standing right here. And it's going to take everything he has next turn to deal with Imperitus, and I'll have just too much army left. Instead, I tried to... I mean, it didn't work out that way. This is all 2020 hindsight of my... I just feel like really poor execution. I should have spent the time and done this turn perfectly. This turn is the turn that kind of wins the game, so to speak. Let's see if... Yeah, this is how it ends up. Jeez. Yeah. I should have just hosed this pile right in here and hosed it really well. Maybe I should have had Manticore pick up a Griffin and throw it into another Griffin. There's so many things. There's so many freaking things I could have done better. Like, honestly, if Manticore had picked up and thrown a Griffin into another Griffin, this Trident would have murdered both. I mean, just destroyed those 2 Griffins. I really needed to utilize throws and power attacks a lot better in this battle. There's so many different better things I could have done than the alpha that I had, that my opponent he felt forced into. But yes, I lost. I died. My opponent's also a pretty good player. Every time I've played him, I've always felt like he's just a solid player. So now I want to go back and talk about things from my opponent's perspective on this turn right here. I think he is giving my threat ranges way too much respect. And he hasn't actually been charged by my threat ranges, so it's not something that's obvious. But I want to talk about Griffin threat ranges. Spinning a focus to fleet and spinning a focus to charge means a Griffin's only getting 2 good attacks in. Against beasts, that's not very good. Now, that's assuming I also have full synergy. When I'm committing 3 Griffins on full loads of focus across the board to build up synergy with fleet and charging, those Griffins aren't getting crap done until that synergy gets higher up. I mean, they're getting a little bit done, but it also means Vyros 2 is playing way farther forward. What am I going to follow up with after those Griffins go screaming across the board? Like, for example, if he takes his whole army and puts it outside of 11 of these Griffins and just piles it in right here, I'm not going to do anything about it. Because if I charge him and he doesn't use his feet, and I probably kill 1 bird between my 3 Griffins, it's a horrible trade. Warpwolf Stalker walks up into the party, bops the crap out of that Griffin. He takes all his other Griffins, runs them into my face, pops feet, between some birds, Kaya, and Warpwolf Stalker and building up synergy, he can probably hose my 3 Griffins and then pop feet and run his other Griffins into my Griffins to buy himself a really solid turn, to set himself up for a really solid after feat effect. And that's why I believe that my threat ranges are pseudo threat ranges. When you're going against Griffins, unless they have real threat range extensions like Hunter's Mark or Assail or Boundless Charge, Fleet is, or if you're single wound infantry, Fleet is pretty good against single wound infantry because you can use your shield attack and you can use 2 spear attacks, and you actually get like 3 models killed, and you can usually Fleet into a really good spot because you can choose a spot very carefully with all that threat range. But if you're a beast, you just don't worry about their 13-inch threat range. And don't worry about the Trident teleporting one of them another 2 inches forward. Because that means the Trident's not doing crap. If it's teleporting one of them 2 inches forward, it's in an awkward spot. And it's only one of them that's going 2 inches forward. And it's also spending a power token that it wants to be boosting to hit with or boosting damage with. So that's just kind of my thoughts on the threat ranges. What I was thinking he should have done is just start putting shifting stones into this zone as soon as that unit died. Maybe get a solo or something out into this zone, and then take his whole army and put it right here so that only 3 Griffins and Manticore are in range of anything, and limit what those 3 Griffins and Manticore are in range with, and just try and bait me into a really bad alpha. Vyros 2 does not want to play an alpha. He does actually not want an alpha. It's really, really weird to say, but every time I have alphaed with Vyros 2 and sent my whole army across the board, it's gone badly. Because building up synergy when I'm paying to charge just doesn't yield enough synergy attacks once synergy is built up. I want to get them into me, and I want to brawl, almost like how Trolls or Scorn just want a big brawl in the middle of the map. That's what I want with Vyros 2, where there's no charging. I can use those extra focus for extra attacks, and that's what I want. I don't want to play the long-range alpha game. I like to threaten the long-range alpha game and say, yeah, I threaten 15, but it's not actually a real threat, if that makes sense. And that's been my experience. Some people might disagree, but that's been my experience. Also, I think I'm done with Tridents and Vyros 2. Sometimes they're really good. I like that they can go flank aside, and the scenarios are really spread out now. But I think Battle Mages can do that just fine. So I'm thinking about going back to my old classic list of Manticore, Imperitus, Battle Mages, and 7 Griffins. I did like the 2 Manticore Imperitus list, but with Gareth 2 as my other pairing, he's got armor cracking for days. I don't need that second Manticore. The second Covering Fire template's really nice, but I think I want to just bring more Griffins, and I want to be able to drop Vyros 2 into gun lines that might shred Gareth and stay out of Gareth's feet, and I want to drop him into situations where I can really abuse a forest and just really, one of the main, Vyros 2 is an okay caster. He's an okay list. But what makes me do good with him and actually win with him is that I've played him so much, and I've probably played the matchup I'm in a couple of times. I think this is like my 4th or 5th game against Kaya 3. And I've won the other ones. But I've played the matchups enough that I know what moves to make. I know how things go, and I have that sort of idea of how to play that match. And I've experienced the 2020 regrets. And so I can usually just inch out victories just a little bit by a little bit, where I just barely win, but it's enough, and it's consistently enough. And that's why I like Vyros too, is because he can do that into a wide variety of lists. I know which matchups he doesn't like, and I even know how to play them to my best of my ability, even though I don't like them and that they are bad matchups. There is still a little bit of something there, even if it's not much. Let me know if you agree, disagree, and congratulations to the Circle player that beat me in this one. He dominated his first two games much more resoundingly than I did, and he is the Cavalry Caster champion for this Oregon area event. Thank you for watching. Bye.